Hello everyone, Lucoshi here and welcome back to Bossche Tuinen. In this episode we are building two exhibits, one for our common ravens, which come from Zoologico de Salti over in Spain. We have four of them and we are building a little aviary right at the entrance for those. And on the other side of the path we will have an exhibit for Patagonian Maras, a pair which we got from Zoologico Puerto Limon over in Costa Rica, which is a really long way from over here, but they got here all right, and we are really happy to receive them, because Patagonian Maras are a great species, and they are easy to keep, which you will see in the exhibit we'll be building for them. Now, like I said in a previous episode, Bossche Tuinen is all about realism, and is all about tiny little details. And this Raven exhibit has a lot of tiny little details, which is why I spent way too long on an exhibit which is like, this big as you see it right now. It has a little shed with which is the indoor enclosure, and will also be the indoor enclosure for the animals, which will be on the other side of this exhibit, which you'll see hopefully in the next episode. And it has multiple climbing structures and stuff, and posts birds can land on. And it is kind of a high aviary, so they can fly around a little bit. For a small zoo like this, it's a pretty decent aviary, especially for for a standard species like common ravens, it's a pretty fancy aviary. And at least it's way bigger than the bird aviaries we have over in Bodehof. But this is an entirely different beast than Bodehof, of course. Bossche Tuinen is aiming to become a big zoo, whereas Bodehof has just recently got rid of our hyenas and will also be looking for a new home for our aardvarks. And then we can move the red river hogs into the hyena enclosure, and the fennec foxes we have backstage into the aardvark exhibit. And then it's a way better fit, because these exhibits are way too small for the animals they currently have. But yeah, it's all about Bossche Tuinen now, and I have finally started work on it, as you can see. And once again use my little door trick with the closet and the chair. I just like it, I love it. It's a tiny little detail to create a door, because if you have the entire wall open, the 2x2 space for these ravens, it would look really dumb. But this looks more appropriate for ravens. It was kinda hard to decorate this aviary. Aviaries are always hard to decorate in Tycoon, because most trees are way too big, and we don't have a lot of climbing structures, so I had to make do with what I had. And I like the colors of the entire thing. We have multiple kinds of wood in there. And this little backstage area we have over here is for the zookeepers, because not necessarily because of the ravens, because ravens are pretty easy to keep, but the animals next to it will be a little bit harder to take care of, and it's also still slightly for the ducks. So then we just have a little backstage thingy. And I just wanted to mess around with stuff. Because when you look at the front of this exhibit into the exhibit, you can kind of see the backstage part. You can't really see it, but you can see hints of it. And I really like that, because it gives more of an open and busy feel to the entire zoo. Which is something I want to try. I want to make sure you can see other parts of the zoo from specific exhibits and stuff, to really give it, to really make it a zoo and not just separate exhibits like Dierpark Genk, for example, but more like Bodehof, where you can see the entire zoo from a single point. And I do not want to see the entire zoo from a single point in Bossche Tuinen, because Bossche Tuinen will be way bigger, but I want to see multiple exhibits at once, or at least give hints to multiple exhibits so you can carry along and see more stuff. For the Mara exhibit we are building now, we have this little shed using my building set I made a while ago. shameless promotion for that one. You can create really cool things with it, like the entrance and this little shed. You have little eaves on the roofs, and I like that. And I found a new use for the roofs, because you can use them as a little shelter inside of the exhibit, which I do here for the Maras, which I think is a nice little detail. Yeah, the Mara exhibit is nothing too fancy. It's just some sand and some rocks and some bushes, but that's what I like. And I really try to get tiny details in there with the grasses and the rocks and the terrain elevation and stuff. Just raising the ditches a little and lowering the patches of sand, which just makes it a little bit more dynamic and interesting and realistic. And I like that. I wanted to have something to break up the layers in this exhibit, so I put a little tree in the middle, which gives it a more interesting feel and makes it a little bit more crowded and less open. This exhibit as well has a little backstage thingy, not for the animals but for the staff, or at least an entrance to get there, and a chain link fence to prevent guests from going there. But that's everything we have for this episode actually. I'll work on some background foliage because that's always important, and next episode we'll hopefully get to work on more animals. Of course, the cinematics, just to give you a little overview of the park we have so far. Just 3 exhibits, but we have set our groundwork for the future, and we have a couple more animals to build exhibits for, so we'll be doing that in the near future. Thank you everyone for watching once again, and hopefully I'll see you relatively soon. Goodbye!